Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the Beehive. If you are new here, my name is Rhonda and I'm so glad that you found my channel. Today's video, we are going to look at what my blood results look like before and after losing 125 pounds. Is it strange to film in the bathroom? I feel like it's the quietest room in my house and yeah, not the least disturbed one. I'm sorry, that's my kitty. But yeah, and right now it's like great lighting. I wanted to sit outside and I tried sitting out there, but the sun is just so bright right now. Miss Cameo herself. You need to stay over there, girlfriend, stay. If you are new to my channel, I've lost 125 pounds. I have done that by following two different plans called the Starch Solution and Maximum Weight Loss. I don't follow them so strict now that I've kind of gotten close to my goal weight. I'm starting to add a little more protein in my diet and I'm excited to kind of show you how that looks like in the next upcoming videos. All right, so a little bit more history about myself. Years ago, gosh, I want to say it's probably been 11 years. I was having some symptoms that basically made me go to the doctor to get some blood work done. And it was discovered that I was diabetic, severely diabetic. Actually, my A1Cs were 13.9 or 6, somewhere around there. I wish I had paperwork left over from that or, proof to show what those test results look like. At that time though, I was not having any issues with like my cholesterol, blood pressure, anything like that. I obviously was much younger. And just, I'm 49, I'll be 50 this year. Back 11 years ago or so, I had stumbled across an article about, going vegan. You could reverse your diabetes. So I was like, okay, I did a little more research. I ended up going vegan pretty much overnight. And I stayed vegan all the way up till July 2022. I'm still vegan, but as far as I wasn't a healthy vegan, if that makes sense. I did reverse diabetes by going vegan. However, the initial change, I reversed it and then not eating as a healthy vegan. I ate, way too much fat, way too much oil, too many calories. Over time, it crept back. I was starting to have problems with my A1Cs and severely obese, overweight, obviously, as well. In July of 2022, I was like, I need to make a change, and I stumbled across more information about the Starch Solution and, again, reversing diabetes. So I did have blood work done. Let me tell you what date it was. I'm going to put everything on the screen here so you can see. It was actually in July of 2021. That's when these test results are going to be from. So as you can see, it took me a good year to kind of wrap my head around, hey, you need to make a change. And I'm sure these results probably got worse, even worse, by the time I decided to make the change. Since we've been talking about diabetes, things like that, let's look at the A1C levels. So as you can see, I did bring it down to a 6.8 at that point. I was much higher before even going vegan. I was 13.9 or 6 or whatever I was then. But as you can see at this stage, my doctor still wanted to put me on some sort of medication, low dose, and I didn't ever go on anything, but that's definitely diabetic. And just for the record, if you go to the doctor and they tell you you're pre-diabetic, you're diabetic. Basically, you're diabetic at that point. Pre-diabetic just means basically you are diabetic. However, it's not severe enough that they want to put you on any sort of medication. And let me just do a disclaimer. I'm not a doctor, okay? I'm not a nutritionist. This is just information that I've gathered on my own. Do your own research, but in my experience and what I have read, that is how I'm interpreting it, okay? But if you're pre-diabetic, you're diabetic. It's not going to get better unless you make a certain change in your diet. All right, so let's fast forward to here recently. This past year, I did get my blood work done. Now, at this point, I hadn't actually lost 125 pounds. I've lost more weight since this last visit. These test results were from October 2023. Check this out. My A1Cs were 4.7. Yes, it's still in the red because now I'm showing that I'm low. However, my doctor said no concern there whatsoever. She read that as being a normal reading. 4.7. Can you believe that? I'm below what the recommended low is even supposed to be. Proof, you know? Diet is everything, really. Weight loss, blood work, things like that. What do they say? Your diet is 80 to 90% of all that, right? You know, working out and exercising and things like that is just a small percentage of the results. You got to make a change in your diet. Because let me just tell you, I do not work out hard at all. I walk. That's all I do. I should do some weightlifting, which I want to get into a little bit as well, just for toning purposes and recomposition in my body, but that's another video. But yeah, so make that change. You got to make the change in the diet. You got to get in a calorie deficit to get that weight off. All right, so let's look at cholesterol. This is amazing, truly amazing. Okay, so these are my results before losing weight. They're terrible. Look at that cholesterol. I mean, honestly, she wanted to actually put me on medication as soon as she saw those results. They're terrible, absolutely terrible. And some of these readings, I don't really know what they are. Some of my more educated people in the health field might be able to help me out there, but they're not good. I'm 29 points over the high range for cholesterol. And it was only gonna get worse, you know, if I didn't make a change. And look at the LDL-C. Wow, terrible. And I'm just like a firm believer, if I can control it and make a change, because this is all self-inflicted. You know, these results are because of the way that I was eating, you know, and if I can control something and not have to go on medication, I'm gonna do it. All right, so I'm only gonna talk about those two just because, again, I don't know what everything is on here, but those were the two in red and those were not good. All right, fast forward after all my weight loss, look at that. My results were all normal. All normal. My doctor called me and she was like, look, if I didn't look at your profile to see what your age was or anything like that, she goes, I would have never pinned you to be 49 years old. She said these test results were amazing. Again, this was me following a low calorie, low fat, high carb diet, okay? The Starch solution. Check it out, you know? It was very successful for me, and I'm a firm believer as well as, you know, not everything works for everybody. This is what worked for me. The way that I was doing it may not be everybody's way of being able to, you know, get the weight off and eat healthy and things like that. So, but it is what worked for me and still continues to work for me. I follow it very closely. However, I just add more protein in my meals now just because I feel like I need it. And it makes my body feel better at this point, adding the more protein. Okay, a lot of these on this, I'm not really sure what some of this reading is, but my fasting glucose was 107. That was my fasting. You should be much lower than that. I can tell you that before I went vegan, my fasting glucose when I went in that day was like 138. It was really, really high. She said my numbers at that point when I was eating food was probably getting, my sugar was probably raising well over 300. And I believe it because let me just tell you, the side effects, like I was sleeping all day. You know, I was just ignoring it. I shouldn't have ignored it, obviously, but the symptoms like were there that something was wrong. But yeah, some of you might be a little more educated. You can take a look at those results. Let's go ahead and look at what they were after I lost all my weight. Okay, so as you can see, I got a couple of my results that are in the low. However, after talking with my dad's girlfriend, she assured me that those results were basically normal. There was no concern of them being on the low end, that those numbers only would be a concern to a physician if they were out of range on the high end. And I asked my Ben's girlfriend's mom is also a physician, and I asked her and she said the same thing. She was like, no concern whatsoever. She said those numbers look great. All right, so that concludes what my blood looked like before losing 120 pounds and after losing. Let me look and see exactly how much I weighed in October. Let me see if it's in my chart. Hold on. Okay, so when I went in October, I was 148.1. So I'm actually like 138 now, about 10 pounds less, so not too far off. So I wish I could see what my weight was back in 2022 when I had those other test results done. I don't see it in my chart. However, I'm sure I could ask her when I went, but I want to say around that point in time, I weighed in roughly around 250 to 260. So, and there goes the dogs. Yeah, again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a physician, I'm not a nurse practitioner, I'm not educated in the health field whatsoever. I wanted to do this video mainly for inspiration for you, the viewer, as far as, you know, making a change. Make that change today. Make it a small change. I can't do it in small changes like that. I am a go all or go none kind of person. So when I feel like I need to make a change with something, I go in with both feet, right? But yeah, I just hope that my video inspires you to make a change, to see that, you know, food more than likely is the culprit of one, either your weight or your health condition, you know, and you can make that change today. All right, guys, I'm going to close out today's video. I hope it was inspirational and I hope you found value in today's video. I would love to hear some of your success stories down in the comments and below as well. Not only can I be an inspiration, but maybe your comment as well could be an inspiration to somebody else that's reading. But that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.